Hello and welcome back. So today we are going to be making cold brew. Now there's a couple of ways to go about this, and there's multiple different types of cold brew or flash brew or cold drip, but today we're going to be doing a full immersion, one of the simplest ways to make cold brew. It also has the least amount of equipment needed to make it successfully, so anybody should be able to do this. What we're going to need is about 60 grams of coffee. We're going to need a tube or some sort of container that we can actually brew this in. We're going to also need about 1,000 grams or 1 liter of water, a way to grind the coffee if you don't already have it pre-ground, and of course a scale. You don't need a fancy scale like this, just anything that you can weigh out your variables. For our container, I'm just going to quickly talk about this. This is the T2, I believe it's for iced tea something or other. I actually don't like using this inner mesh tube, and I'm going to show you how you can get around it and filter off your cold brew. Just the reason why I picked this container is because I know that it's definitely going to be able to hold a liter because of the size. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this apart and remove that filter. Alright, there we go. So as you can see, I've just got one big empty container. Cool. Pop that to the side. Alright, now, so for the coffee, it really depends on how you plan on drinking your cold brew. So as you know, you can get filter roasted coffee, you can get espresso roasted coffee. Typically, I like to move towards filter roasted coffee or something of the lighter nature. However, you are more than welcome to use darker roasted coffee, espresso blends, house blends. You can pretty much use anything. Cold brew is very forgiving in the sense that it doesn't necessarily matter what coffee you use, it will still come out somewhat okay. Now, another way that you can differentiate this and make this decision on what coffee to use is how you're going to drink it. So if you're going to be making a concentrate, what we can do is instead of using 60 grams of coffee beans and a liter of water, you might do 60 grams of coffee beans and half a liter of water. Once you've brewed it, you've now got a concentrate, and that way you can add this concentrate to milk, to ice, to whatever you like. So if you're going to be using it for milk, you might want to lean towards something a little bit more darker, chocolatey, roasty, sort of something to complement that milk, just as you would a milk-based beverage like a latte or a flat white. If you plan on drinking cold brew as black or just over ice, you may want to reconsider and go for something that you would normally drink, like something like a filter roasted coffee. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly weigh out my coffee. We're going to go for 60 grams. So we are going to have to cheat a little bit, only because the container is not large enough. But while we're here, we're going to talk about grind size. So we're going to be grinding the coffee, leaving it in the container with the water to brew overnight. Now, because of this, we don't want a super fine grind size. We want something really coarse that will take time to actually brew, and it won't over extract and become this ridiculously strong coffee. So we want to go relatively coarse. On the Comandante here, I'm going to go for around 30 clicks. So I'm going to go all the way to 0. And 1. You could go a little bit coarser, maybe even 40 clicks, but for now we're just going to run with 30. And before I grind that up, I'm going to go ahead and put in the other 30 grams. So the coffee I'm using is Pacamara from El Salvador, hence the really large beans. But yeah, as you can see, I've got a really nice coarse ground coffee. This smells amazing just as is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add it in here. I've teared out my container so that I can double check that I have the correct amount. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and grind that second lot of coffee, and I'll be back. Alright, and that's our second lot of coffee done into the container. Fantastic. Bang on 60 grams. All right, and now for our water, we are going to go ahead and put in 1,000 grams, which is 1 liter. Now, like I said before, depending on your purpose, so if you want to be using this straight away just as a drink, you want to do 1 to 15, 1 to 16 ratio. If you're going to use it as a concentrate and you're going to be adding milk, or you're going to be adding ice or diluting it in some other way, you want to use less water. And you're going to replace the difference with that extra something. So for instance, if you're going to use half the amount of water now, so instead of doing a liter, you're going to do half a liter. You then have half a liter to use for your milk, etc., etc. I hope that makes sense. Anyways, we're going to add our water. Alright, here we go. So we've got a liter of water, we've got 60 grams of coffee beans, and now for the magic ingredient, time. We're going to let this brew for 20 to 24 hours, which is overnight, in the fridge. Now that's very important. It's not at room temperature, it's in the fridge. So this is a traditional way, super easy to brew delicious cold brew at home. You don't need many ingredients, and yeah, it's super easy to do. Popping the lid on. If you've got something, you can give it a little stir. I don't at the moment, so I'm going to give it a good little shake. Look at that, beautiful. And I'm going to leave it in the fridge to brew overnight. Okay, so now for the final step, once you've brewed your cold brew overnight, you've let it fully immersed and extract all those wonderful flavors, what we're going to have to do is we're going to filter it out. Because as you can see, we've got all these coffee grounds, and drinking that is going to be nasty. So what I recommend at this point is using a V60. So what this is it's just basically a cone that you can put your paper filter in and decant the liquid, your cold brew, into here, into another container, and that way have all those flavors that you like from cold brew. Another option, if you don't have one of these, is you can simply use a strainer, a cheesecloth, anything that you can sort of think of, maybe even a plunger if you wanted to. Besides that, as long as it's a way that you can strain out all of your coffee grounds from your liquid, you should be fine. And that's it, guys. If you've got any questions at all, any comments, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below and I'll get back to them. And please share with us if you end up making cold brew this way. Alright, we'll see you next time.